Howdy everyone, welcome back to Wobble Enjoy Sports. If you're new around here, hope I can get you to consider to like the content and subscribe to the channel. But if you are a regular around these here parts, thank you very much for the continued support. And no, I haven't tied my tie or refreshed my tie in about 3 years. Today is a very special episode of the Ride in the River episode series that I do here once every blue moon. And what does Ride in the River mean? Well, back in the old cowboy western days, there was a turn of phrase where someone would look at someone and say that he is someone that I would ride the river with, and I would absolutely ride the river today with NRLW, North Queensland Cowboys head coach, Mr. Ricky Henry, who has given up his time this evening to come in and have a chat to us tonight. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Henry.
No worries, Sam, and thanks for having me on.
Yeah, definitely. We bumped into each other a couple of weeks ago down at Tweed Heads, and it was a cold and rainy New South Wales day, even though it's only half an hour south of the border. On a rainy day like that, do you get a little bit more information from seeing your players playing in damp, wet conditions like that?
Look, I'm used to it, being from New Zealand, but I know a lot of the ladies that live up here aren't used to that. But I think it's just trying to keep it really simple when it is wet and raining and cold. Like there seems to be a lot more drop ball, dewy surface, so handling's generally pretty tough. But to be honest with you, not really. It's raining on both sides of the field, and they have to go through the same conditions as us, so not too much more.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Alrighty. So just to lay the platform. So you were born in New Zealand, and were you born in a rugby league household, or did you break the mold and introduce sport into the DNA of the Henry family?
I grew up, to be honest, in a real tough area of Auckland, and sport was our way out, our outlet. As young kids, so whatever sport was going, you'd jump in there and play, whether it be softball, rugby league, soccer, cricket, you name it. We all loved playing some sort of game or getting together with our mates, and those were the days where you'd stay out until the street lights went out. So for us, it was just about getting out into the streets here and sort of getting with your mates and throwing a ball around. So yeah, for my family, we had obviously the All Blacks is quite big back home. It's a rugby team back home that everyone follows and every kid aspires to be. But I just love playing sports regardless of what it was. And mum and dad used to turn on the TV, and I used to watch that or listen to the radio. That's probably how old I am. So I just did a lot of stuff around home with my mates and that sort of stuff.
So what was the link to, or how did the link to the ARL back then, or the NRL came about? Was there a player or was there a team that really sucked you in, or was it the introduction of the then Auckland Warriors, now New Zealand Warriors, that really got you into rugby league?
Yeah, look, I remember when I was a little kid, a lady coming around asking if there were kids that were interested in playing rugby league for our local team, which is the Manurewa Marlins, and I think I was about 4 or 5. And she sort of sparked my interest. She asked mum and dad if I could play rugby league, and initially they said no. And then I think they wanted to get me out of the house. So it took me down to the local footy club, and I started playing rugby league. And at the time, we just obviously played as mates and got the team together to just run around really and have a neighbourhood sort of team. But I think where the ARL or NRL sort of came about was 1995. The Warriors were introduced. Just prior to that, I'd played sort of junior Kiwis, had come through quite a few of the grades of rep teams, etc. And my passion was sort of born when that lady came around and knocked on my door to go and play rugby league. So it was always an aspiration and always something that I tried to aspire to be, was to play at the elite level, and I had quite a few friends that were pretty good as well. So yeah, that's sort of how it sort of came about. And the Warriors were a one country, one team for the country, and everyone followed that team. And you've seen it now, sort of up the wires. It's quite famous. So that's sort of where rugby league was sort of born back home in New Zealand.
So you mentioned playing for the junior Kiwis. You also represented the New Zealand Māori Rugby League side as well back in the mid-90s. There's such an emphasis, especially due to the introduction of the All-Stars game, about learning about your culture, learning more about your history. Do you feel like that? Well, did you know much about your tradition and your history? And was that more of an emphasis back in the day when the New Zealand Māori Rugby League side and the junior Kiwis were about? Did you feel like there was more of an emphasis by the coach and everybody else to teach you more, or is that something that has been more of a modern day teaching skill, if you accept that?
Yeah, look, they back when I was playing, so I don't know what it is. It's sort of like a feel like when you sort of went into a New Zealand Māori team or an international team, there's this what we call wairua, which is like a spirit. When you walk into those types of teams where you're not just playing for yourself, you're playing for your family, you're playing for the people that have worn the jersey before you, you're playing for your family history and what they represent. So I think like it wasn't as much emphasis, but I think also at the same time you just knew there was a different purpose as well. So that sort of, obviously I gravitated towards that. Once you learn about your history and who you are and who you're playing for, I just sort of found that I had a really deep connection with that, with what it was, which is the spirit, I guess. And as I've sort of gotten older and coaching other teams, it's actually the X factor and the point of difference, I reckon, in teams. You think about the Queensland Origin team. They've got the never die attitude. That's sort of there, and they never give up. But that's just sort of built into you, like it's your DNA, it's who you are. Very similar to our culture, where there's a lot of spirit, and that you're playing for not just yourself, you're playing for everyone else that's representing their jersey or who you're representing there.
Back in the mid-90s, in comparison to today, do you think it was harder trying to maintain being that top-tier athlete, maybe due to access to internet and maybe more information here today? Was it harder to be a rugby league player then compared to what it is today?
Yeah, I guess there's a lot more research today, and I think there's a lot more things at your fingertips. So you've got access to obviously online reading. You can go and source out the right people. How there's even AI that can probably tell you what to do and how to play rugby league. So you have all the stuff that's available to you. But I think the core fundamentals of the game, like rugby league, it's a tough game. That's probably the first thing, and not everyone plays it because it's physical and because you could end up with injuries, or there's different things that you could walk away with. So so from that point of view, like those fundamentals don't change. I guess you've got to have a passion for the game and a passion for the sport as well. So as much as there's more resources today, I think the fundamentals are still the same from when I played, and I guess when a lot of the other players that sort of we can talk about the change, I reckon, from the 70s through to the 90s, and then 90s through to the 2000s, and now in 2025. So it's ever evolving. So I think you've just got to go with the change and be really adaptable.
When you were playing, so you were a part of the Warriors makeup for the first 3 years of the Warriors' existence, and you actually played in the New South Wales Rugby League Grand Final back in 1997 as well. That was the game where Broncos and Sharks played in the main contest that day. Did you ever get to train or meet some of those initial superstars back in the day when they first laced their boots for the Auckland Warriors? Like, for example, I think maybe he may have been a little bit too late, but Greg Alexander, for example, did you ever get to meet him?
Not so much him. I think he's a few years older. I'm old, but not that old. But he was around just the year I sort of signed. He moved I think the year after. But yeah, there's some great players there that we're playing. I guess for us, as young kids coming through, and we'd aspire to try and be be like them. And I think at the time you're in awe of what they do and how they do things, and you're trying to learn as much as you can. So yeah, it wasn't around at that time, but there's definitely a lot of players I've sort of crossed paths with that that have been inspirational on my journey as a player and as a coach.
Yep. Back then as well, do you recall the women's game at all? There was very, very little, if any at all, any information or any sort of publicity about women's rugby league back then in the mid 1990s. Did you? Was there ever any information that you saw, or did you ever get to talk or help train with any of the female rugby league players in any of your time before maybe the year 2010 or thereabouts, Mr. Henry?
Yeah, there was. So we had a Kiwi Ferns team back in the 90s. They were sort of new, obviously new to the World Cup. So the Kiwi Ferns played the Jillaroos and also played the New Zealand Māoris. So there's a little bit of history there. But I just recall sort of coming through the grades that there was a New Zealand team, a women's team that was there. And yeah, there's early days and the trailblazers of the women's game back home in New Zealand. And yeah, they sort of set the scene, I guess. They had to do things quite tough. There wasn't sponsorship. The game was nowhere near professional. It was more sort of a local game, but they approached that with passion, and this is where the game was today because of people like that. So yeah, the game was definitely there, but probably not where it's at today.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So then, from about 2008, so you stopped sort of playing at the start of the new millennium, and then you did start getting into the coaching in the mid 2000s. You were the under-20s development coach. I hope that's the correct pronunciation or technical term for the New Zealand Warriors between 2008 and 2011. So if there are any Warriors fans watching this right now, do they need to extend to you a big thank you for the under-20s Toyota Cup team that went on a massive successful run throughout your period there when you were linked up with the New Zealand Warriors, and with some of the players that came through, Sai Feki, and one of them being Sean Johnson as well. The overall question that I've got is that, did you know what you had at the time as the development coach of the under-20s or Pathways program, and or did you just collect them all, and did they just hit the ground running and exceeded your expectations?
Yeah, good question. Look, there's an abundance of players back home in New Zealand. As I sort of mentioned earlier on, the All Blacks is a big draw card. So throughout all the rugby league schools, all the rugby and rugby league schools, everyone was sort of, I wouldn't say forced to play rugby, but there was a preference to play for the first 15, which is in every single school back home in New Zealand. And sort of what we did was, we didn't go after the main players, the players that we knew the All Blacks would probably end up as All Blacks. We were sort of trying to just get the players just on the edge to sort of switch over to the league. And the big draw card, to be fair, was they were coming straight out of school. And in a rugby league system, you'd go straight into the Toyota Cup and play on TV every weekend, and your mates would see you and your name gets out there and all that sort of stuff. Plus, after that, there's an opportunity for you to go into be a full-time professional with an NRL squad. So there was a big draw card there. In the rugby system, you'd come out of school and then you'd have nothing to do for the next sort of 3 or 4 years. So we were able to sort of offer opportunities for players to come play rugby league, and that's where we sort of picked up the Conrad Harrells, obviously Sean Johnson, he was there, Sai Feki, like Sam Lousy. There's a range of players that was in it, they were in our system, Siwa Tokiaho, those sorts of blokes. So yeah, I've sort of seen a few players come through, and I think it was one thing to get talent into your pathway, but it's another thing to develop them I just found like I had a really good knack of obviously selecting the players and then also developing them to be the players that I possibly saw them as, and giving them an opportunity. And the other draw card, I reckon, for a lot of those young lads coming through was, you could make a living and you could buy your family a house, or, a lot of these kids were coming out of not broken homes, but a low, a really low socioeconomic area.
Well, they did fantastically well. They beat the North Queensland Cowboys in the 2011 grand final. Oh man, I remember watching that live. That broke my freaking heart. So they did well in that aspect. And so then you just kept on rising. You became the assistant coach for the Warriors in 2014, if I'm not mistaken. You were next to Matt Elliott, and then you took a New South Wales, New Zealand Warriors side to a preliminary final as well. And then you you then, in the year 2020, you then got anointed the Kiwi Ferns coach. I don't want to talk out of pocket and I don't want to put words in your mouth sort of thing, but like, is that maybe still to this day, is it still the most proudest moment for you in your coaching career, or just in your rugby league career, being anointed as the New Zealand Kiwi Ferns coach?
Yeah, I think it's really special, for anyone that's sort of representing their country. As I sort of talked about it earlier on, like we do things, and I don't think I did it to try to be someone that I wasn't, but I knew like there was a lot of people that were behind me and backing me, and I was really proud, to be the Kiwi Ferns coach. I'd been a coach of a New Zealand team previously, a New Zealand under-19s team, and that was I was really proud of that. So I think, from myself, like there's been a lot of, I've had a lot of luck, but I've also worked hard, and I enjoy not so much my achievements, but more those around me and the players that I've coached going on to bigger and better things, and that's what drives me, and that's what I really enjoy seeing.
For you to be in the coaching ranks for the better part of 12 years, in between, let's say 2008 through to 2020, was there a coach, or was there a player? Is there anyone that really became critical to you, important to you, besides your family, of course? Is there anybody that in the rugby league circles that really helped you get filled with confidence throughout your tenure? Who really planted the seed for you, and who made sure that you continued to grow until you got anointed the Kiwi Ferns coach in 2020?
Look, I've got a learning mindset, so anyone that I cross paths with, I take on board what they say and how they do things. I'm always a bit of a student of the game. I really enjoy observing and analysing different tactics and different strategies around how the game's played. I just love rugby league, but I also look at sort of the bigger picture as well. Like it, I admire someone like the Melbourne Storm, that sort of system. Just the types of players that they have coming through. Sort of what they've been able to do with certain players, like making a player who, I wouldn't say average, but not the elite, become the elite players that they are, and sort of the players that come out of that club are generally known as players that are reliable and work hard and that sort of stuff. So, for me, I do have a couple of people in mind that I always sort of call on, have a chat to, just around some of the things that I'm probably thinking about. But I am open to listening and observing other coaches and other people, not just in rugby league either. The person I sort of rely on is more in the corporate world, someone that I enjoy talking with and discussing things and seeing things for what it really is. So, that's sort of something, a bit of background about me in regards to the coaching. But my heart is obviously, firstly, I've been at the Warriors for a long time, but my heart's with the Cowboys. I've been up here now, and I've loved every moment that I've been here. I've loved the people that are in the community. This club's great with helping the women's game grow, but the people that are in this club as well make it what it is. And we still got legends coming back into the club. JT's still around. Ty Williams is with us, so we've got that connection back to our history, and that's what I really love about this club. And the friendships that I've forged over the last year have been outstanding. But yeah, that's sort of me, and where I go to get or to fill my cup, I guess, and to talk about rugby league. You definitely have to have someone there.
Just a question here. So there are a couple of fans out there that want you to start teaching the men's defensive unit as well, and upgrade to that. And then just a question from Maddie James. After seeing the post-game comments by Abigail Roach and feeling at home at North Queensland, how have the girls, not from North Queensland, found adapting life up there in Townsville?
Yeah, really good actually. The way I've sort of sold it to these ladies, I've come from Auckland. It's a busy, city, and it's very similar to Sydney. So coming up here, you get time back on your side. I think you can relax a little bit more. You get to sort of get your life back in order, and you get to have some time to yourself. So I've found that really, really useful, and using that when recruiting the girls to come up here has been a big draw card. I think the community is a big one for us as well. I always talk about people drive 11 hours to get here just to watch you play. Then they've got to drive home, and they bring their family and their kids and everything else. That's commitment. We've got to go out on the field and show the exact same commitment, or pay them back for their, for them driving all this way and supporting us. So the community is big for us. I guess the other thing for me is just like a lot of our young players that are coming through the pathway, Abigail Roach and the like, those types of players are players that I want the players or the young players that are coming through our pathways to aspire to. I want them to be around where they can sort of see how they train, see how they conduct themselves, see the professionalism that they show, and then play our style of footy as well. So, big responsibility for all our players, but that's what we've signed up to do, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Question from Hayden Menso. What drew you to the job of the Cowboys NRLW coach? What appealed to you, and was it you that reached out first, or did the club actually come and send an email to you? How did that come about?
Yeah, I was coaching obviously the Kiwi Ferns in 23, and I got a few offers from clubs to see if I was interested in coaching NRLW, and I made a decision with my partner that we wouldn't move to Sydney because it was too fast, and I'd lived there before, so that was out of the question for a club. And then I said, look, if there's a club that comes on board and it's outside of Sydney, then I'll definitely consider it. And then the Cowboys reached out. We got talking. I wasn't sure if I was going to come up here or not, only for the mere fact that I was with the Warriors at the time. I'd signed a contract there to coach their under-20s team. Plus I had the Kiwi Ferns, plus my kids and family were still back in New Zealand. So initially the talks sort of stalled, and I wasn't sure about making the move. And then I had another chat with Anita, who's our football manager here in the club, and things started to move again. And then I just had to make a decision. All the boxes were ticked, I think, once I sort of spoke to Nita, and then I had a chat with Michael Luck, Todd Payton, who I knew from the Warriors, and then a couple of other players, or other people that were up here that I trusted, and I ended up signing, a 3-year deal there, and I was really pleased with the outcome there. And then just at the last second there, another club came in and asked if I wanted to go there, and I'd already signed and I'd already made my decision, which I'm glad that I did, because I love it up here and I love this club.
So are we, Mr. Henry. So are we, Mr. Henry, especially over the past couple of weeks as well, man, for sure. Just another question as well that's just come in, but I do want to ask you about the feeder clubs for the North Queensland Cowboys, the Kai Cutters, and the Northern Pride. How much communication do you have with both of those clubs and both of those coaches in regards to the development of the young ladies that are coming through, or is it sort of more of an assistant coach's role to give you that information?
No, I like to be engaged there. So each week I talk with those coaches. So I meet them sort of every Monday or Tuesday, either over the phone or if they're in town, I have a bit of a coffee with them. But I like to catch up with Marco Peters, who's down in Mackay. He's done a great job there last year and is doing a great job there this year as they've rebuilt. Then Cole Walker, who's up at the Pride there, I chat with him each week. And when players go back from our squad, from the NRLW squad, we obviously in contact. And I'm not big on, hey, look, they have to play in this position, they have to do this, they have to do that. Like, I think they go back. We've given them some instructions, the players, and then I talk to the coaches about, hey, look, this is what we're looking for from this player. I just need you to sort of help them achieve some of the stuff that we've set out for them. So it's not so much about, hey, they need to play this amount of minutes, or they need to play this position, or they need to do this or do certain things. I'm quite flexible in that regard, but I just want to make sure that their attitude's right and the goals that we've set for them that they're achieving. So we always go back. So me and the assistant coaches will have a look at the footage and then give them one-on-one feedback, on their return back into our program. So a little bit of time is spent in that area, and at the same time, we're always looking for players. So I'm always talking to them about, hey, who did you play last week? Is anyone that stands out? Is anyone from our feeder teams that are standing out? Is anyone you need us to consider? Quite open to that as well. Like, I think if you sort of have a closed book there, you sort of miss some of the gems that you possibly could have had. So big on that. Big on providing an opportunity if someone's the right fit for us.
So that just evolves into Cows with Guns. Thanks for the stream chance. Ricky, what do you see as the next big step in the women's game? How do you see the NRLW pathways evolving in the next 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, good question there. Big step. We want to win the final, and the NRLW. That's a big step in itself. But yeah, I guess there's probably 4 things for us. Winning premierships is big for us, but to win those, you've got to have a really good pathway. Our aim is to try to develop or have the best elite pathway system in the NRLW. So that's big for us. The third thing for us is our player development, putting a lot of resource into that and time and effort into that piece so that we're getting players that are from our region that have the opportunity to step in and play for the North Queensland Cowboys NRLW team. And then the last thing for me is just around the community, making sure that we're still in contact with the community, that we engage in them, that we show appreciation, that it's because of them is why we're here. So that's big for me as well. And connecting, like, we have a huge footprint that can be difficult and challenging, but at the same time, like, it is rewarding. Like, I want our ladies to go out there and introduce themselves to people that have driven 8 hours to 11 hours just to be here to watch us play. So connecting with them that way, but also attending all the schools, carnivals, and that sort of stuff is really important for us, just to make sure that we're relevant within the community and reconnecting back in. I think the second part to that question was around, where do I see the NRLW in 5 years? Look, the game is evolving so quickly. I enjoy the women's game because of it's in its purest form, rugby league. The ladies see space, they shift the ball into that space. They're structured, but not to the point where it's taken away their ability to play eyes up footy. They do crazy stuff sometimes, which coaches struggle with, but in the same breath, I think it's a breath of fresh air when you're in this women's space. I guess the other point for me, just when it goes professional, is that we still have that caring piece, which is the part that I've gravitated towards as a coach is that I really enjoy being around the ladies when they've got a caring mindset. It's very emotional, can be a good thing or a bad thing, but I find like you get the real person when you're in the women's space. So I don't want that to change, but I just know that with professionalism coming, there's going to be more resource. There's going to be more time put into the women's game. It's going to be a full season, and I just hope it keeps growing and we inspire the next generation of players that are coming through and the young ladies that aspire to play rugby league.
Being a North Queensland Cowboys fan, a lifelong fan, it's evident from the men's game and now evolving into the women's game as well that community is the biggest part of the Cowboys, and it's one of the main reasons why I love the club. Even though I don't live in Townsville, I see year in, year out, that how much work they do in the community, and to hear that you are reinforcing that core pillar, one of the core pillars of North Queensland Cowboys is really uplifting, and it's really, really exciting as well. So that's amazing to hear as well. In regards to also the NRLW pathways evolving in the next 5 to 10 years, or just the NRLW in general, there's been not concerns, but there's been a couple of suggestions that with more success, with more revenue coming into the game, longer seasons, more pay packets for the ladies, that maybe there could be an attempt by some coaches out there, just some people out there, that maybe the wrestle would be introduced into the defense of the women's game. And you were just talking about the purity of the NRLW at the moment, and I wholeheartedly agree that it's just pure rugby league at the moment. But are you in any way, shape or form concerned about maybe the wrestle being introduced into the women's game as the NRLW continues to thrive?
I think, definitely clubs will evolve, and that's the trick to it, I guess, is it's a spectacle at the moment and people love it the way it is. And, it's our duty as coaches to make sure that it stays as pure as possible. But, in a competitive environment, a high performance environment, you're always looking for an edge. I just hope that the wrestle's not something that comes in and ruins the game. We won't get the opportunity to see sort of Emma Manzelman jumping out and taking off and scoring tries like she did in the weekend. You won't see the speed as being part of the reason why you win, or you're not getting rewarded because you're fit, because you're getting out wrestled on the ground and the game slowed down that other teams can sort of catch you. So, look, it's inevitable, I guess, but I think at the same time, I'd rather change other things before thinking about the wrestle as being a key reason why the game has to evolve and move in a different direction. So, look, there's other things I could touch on that I really enjoy coaching before the wrestle, but I just think it is what it is at the moment. I love the game for what it is and how it's being played by the woman.
Absolutely. Well, look, I want to start touching on some players as well. So Emma Manzelman, you just spoke about her. She is my favourite player in all of the NRLW. She is captain, all my captain. Absolutely incredible ever since she hit the scene. Emma Manzelman, why was it that you looked at Emma Manzelman and selected her to now be the North Queensland Cowboys co-captain?
So Emma, I guess one of the first things for me was I wanted someone from this region to lead our team. I wanted there to be a pathway or someone that knew about our footprint and about this region and the history of it, and someone that sort of come through those grades or been in this area for a period of time to truly understand what it meant to be a North Queensland Cowboy. And I thought Emma was the right person. On top of that, I love the way she plays the game. She's very tough for a small body. She shoots from the hip, but everything she says she means, and it's from the bottom of her heart. And she's got a team first mentality. Her first thought is, how do I how do I mix it up with someone physically first before anything else. And that's what I liked about her, and that's what we're trying to build at this club here, is have a mantra where we work on being, we're a tough team to play against, but we've got a lot of effort in our game, and then we've got specific skill sets to sort of exploit opportunities for us. But that's probably the main reason, is that she's a local, she's a good fit for us. I just love the way she plays a game.
Yeah, absolutely. So just on round one, by the way, congratulations on the victory. It was a really impressive performance by the ladies, even though it didn't start bloody nicely. But speaking of that lady, Rosie Kelly, she's someone that I knew about, but I hadn't really soaked in her game due to her being from Parramatta and being from another code in years previous. And she's just a Swiss Army knife, man. And she's won the battle not battle, but she's earned the right to wear the number 6 from round one. And after that performance against the Gold Coast Titans on Saturday, I think she's earned the right to also wear the number 6 next weekend as well. Can you talk to us about Rosie Kelly? Because I thought she was a massive standout for the North Queensland Cowboys this past weekend.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Thanks for picking the team too. Sounds good. But no, Rosie Kelly, she came here as a centre. She played for Parramatta, but I'd seen her play rugby as a first 5, and liked her skill set. She's turned up here, and I was pretty open and honest and transparent with all 3 of our halves, Kira Dibb, Rosie Kelly, and also Tallulah Tillett. Just said, look, ladies, 3 doesn't go into 2. You'll be based every time you come to training, and you work hard. We'll observe that, we'll see it, and you're going to have to put your best foot forward to make our job hard to pick the right person. And Rosie turned up here, never played half before, but has got a really good football brain, especially her awareness of space and people around her, and a really nice skill set. So she got the nod round one, and we've really enjoyed her development over the off season and pre-season. It hasn't come easy though. I will say this, like Tallulah Tillett has been absolutely outstanding at training here, so it's been a really tough decision. And obviously got Kira Dibb there as well, really pushing the envelope around who should be playing. So all 3 ladies were on notice, but at the same time, they're such great humans that they support each other regardless of what happens. And that's what we're trying to create here, is some competition, but also when people get selected, that, we pat them on the back. We go away and work hard, and then make my job harder the following week if you want to get chosen. So, yeah, she has earned the right to wear that 6 jersey.
Is that the hardest part of being a coach? Is being the man to cut it down from 3 down to 2? Is that arguably the hardest part of your job?
Yeah, it is hard, because you've got emotional attachments or connections with the players, and you sort of know. I've been dropped before as a player, and it's not the nicest feeling. But I always think in the back of my mind that next time, I won't let you not pick me. I'll put my best foot forward, so that I am chosen, that you have no choice but to choose me. And I sort of pass that information on, or that mindset on, to the players that have missed out. And it's a tough job, regardless of where you see it, and they don't hear anything else after it. So you'll say you're not playing, and then the players don't generally hear what's next. So I like to just loop back around again, just to double check that they're okay, and that there is hope. And the big thing is, it's not about how you sort of start the season, it's how you finish it for us. And I want Tallulah to keep pushing, and when she gets her chance, that she takes it. And then I want the other 2 to stay in the position, so Tallulah doesn't get a chance. So it's a bit of a hard one to juggle, but that's just high performance sport, and the level that we're trying to play at.
I'll tell you what, Mr. Tillett did no harm to her chances by killing it for the Northern Pride over the weekend. Holy smokes, man. Now, a different trio of ladies that I'd like to mention as well. But I want to preface it by saying that I think coming into the season, I think it is our deepest, most richest depth that we've had in our 3-year history. I think you have really nice headaches every single night, just about, Mr. Henry. I think our depth is fantastic, versatile, and really, really talented. I believe in this group of players 110%. But the 3 players I now want to mention who are all sort of vying for that same spot is the back 3 who absolutely carved it up on Saturday in Miss Crystal Blackwell, Francesca Goldthorpe, and Mr. Ja'Kiah Whitfeld. I remember, and I understand that Ja'Kiah Whitfeld first signed for the Cowboys to come up and play fullback, and she played centre in 2024. And I had my own little video at the start of the year, and I said maybe Ja'Kiah Whitfeld should just stay at centre because she just absolutely crushed it in 2024. Well, you gave her the opportunity at fullback and she went to another friggin' level just quietly. I thought she was absolutely tremendous, but she, maybe more importantly, she was complemented beautifully by Crystal Blackwell and Francesca Goldthorpe, who I thought elevated themselves to another level as well this past Saturday. If you can talk to us about the back 3 for North Queensland.
Yeah, there's a really good synergy there. There's those 3 have got different strengths and they've got different playing capabilities and skill sets. So that's a nice thing they have for us at the back there. I guess with Ja'Kiah and KB, like they turned up here in pre-season and it was the same sort of thing as the 3 halves. Only one can be chosen, and they trained their house down like it was unbelievable. Some of the sessions they had, it was challenging. They were trying to outdo each other in the conditioning blocks and the skills blocks, in the video, doing more video than the others, and so on and so on. So it was really good to see that there was competition there. It brought out the best in Ja'Kiah, but also brought out the best in KB as well, who has held that position over the last couple of years. So I think, yeah, look, Ja'Kiah is just an unbelievable athlete. I think first and foremost, it's some of her conditioning, like her 1.2 time and conditioning blocks are just out of this world for a woman. And when I say that respectfully, because I've been around a lot of high performance athletes that are women, and she's out there at the top. On top of that, and the thing that probably her point of difference is that she's tough. She's a tough hombre. Like, she will carry the ball back into the middle of the field when there's no gaps. She's got to run it straight, and then she's got to then back it up and get out the back and try and execute some skills. So Ja'Kiah's, got something special about her, and her like me signing last year and putting her in the centres was part of a bigger plan to possibly get her into fullback at the time. I just thought it was a big ask going from wing straight to fullback, and then trying to organise our defensive line and then organise our shape out the back. So I thought we'll give her a year at centre, then she can sort of observe and see how things are done from a fullback's point of view. On top of that was about her learning our systems and our structure and how we wanted to play, and she grasped that in the first year. So we gave her an opportunity last week, and I don't think we'll be looking back or should be looking back anytime soon. But I still want KB, who I think is an NRL quality fullback as well, to continue to push her. And if she has to play on the wing to get her a chance, and that, so be it. So some really good competition there. And then Fran Goldthorpe, who actually came here as a fullback, is on the wing, and possibly play centre for us as well. So three ladies that have really done a great job challenging each other to get this position or get this opportunity to play on the wings. Waiting in the wings, so to speak. We've got Anna Malupo, who, she's another amazing athlete that's coming through our pathway and through our squad here. So we've got a bit of depth there. Emily Smith, she's another one that's waiting in the wings as well. They're quite young, but look, they'll get their opportunity when the time's right there. And I'm just so happy that we were able to give them an opportunity and they've been able to take it.
Again, those other names that you just mentioned there just goes to what I said before about the depth that we've got and the level of skill that these ladies all have. Look, I've got to post the question here because it's been mentioned a couple of times in the chat, Mr. Henry. Matt James, not getting ahead of ourselves, but if we do manage to win the premiership, will Ricky be DJing at the after party at the Leagues Club?
Oh, geez, if you like 1960s music, you might be on something there. Look, I'll jump on there and have a go on the decks. I just do it for fun, and I don't know. It's funny. It got posted on social media, and everyone thinks I can DJ. I do it as a bit of a hobby. I don't know if I'm good at it, but I enjoy doing it. And I don't have a stage name. I'm pretty sure the girls will. I'm pretty sure the girls will give me a stage name. If they think it's worthy.
We're going to make that happen now. We're going to give you a name for sure. And just Matt James, just going on to what you said before about Jakai, noticing the opportunity on the short side and running all the way across field to eventually score was great awareness. Hearing the girls communicate in those situations was really impressive as well. It was absolutely unbelievable. And Abigail Roach and complimented Crystal Blackwell to give her a sensational try going coast to coast. I was just about to talk about second rowers, and we just got a question that literally just popped up then. How is the progression of China Palata, and is she still she's a Swiss Army knife and versatile as well. Is she sort of still framed in to be a second rower when she comes back?
Yeah, she's going to be back. All going good. Round 4 for us. She'll probably come back through BMD, so we're looking forward to her coming back into the fold. She's doing a rehab and done a great job there. She's another one that's good enough to be, I reckon, in any team, starting the back row. So I've always sort of thought she was a back rower. She went when I met with her last year, she was a winger. The year before, then she was a front rower. Now she's a back row, and I think that's probably her best position. And she just had that unlucky ACL that she done last year. Otherwise, she was sort of flying. So, yeah, she'll come back into the fold once she's played a couple of games there. It won't take her too long to get back on the bike there and give me more headaches about picking a team.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. If you're able to reveal it, is she which feeder club is she going to represent when she comes back?
She'll still be with the Mackay Cutters team, so she'll head down to Mackay there and play with Marco Peters and his team.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I said that I was going to talk about second rowers as well. Before the season kicked off, because I'm an absolute tragic, I rewatched all of our victories since 2023. And in every single one of our victories, Miss Tiana Smith has been absolutely enormous. And she was killing it for the Cutters last year, and then she got injured and just not inconsistency, but just she struggled a little bit to get back in, and then she got suspended. But earlier this year in the All-Stars game. But I'm terribly excited overall to see Miss Tiana Smith. Hopefully, again, I'm not picking the team here for you. I've got ideas. They may not be good ones, but I've got ideas. But I'm terribly excited to see, hopefully, that Miss Tiana Smith comes back into the fold, because she is as destructive as anybody in the back row in the NRLW.
Yeah, we've been really lucky to be honest with you. So she was suspended for three games. We were lucky to obviously get her off through the early part of the BMD season, those 3 games. So she was able to play last week, which is great. She's sort of coming back, obviously, after the All-Stars game early on in the year. She's someone that's got huge potential. Someone we know here that can, that can win a game for you. On both sides of the ball, she's solid, and I've got to agree with you. Tiana's got that much potential. Like, I can go on record here and say that she's got the potential to be the best player in the NRLW. What we need to obviously work on there's a couple of things that we're keen on seeing from her. She had her first game last week, and then we'll just sort of watch her progress. We've got some things we wanted to go away and work on and come back, and she'll be back in the fold there at some point, and just be depending on her form, and obviously form of those who've been given the opportunity the first or in the early rounds.
Yep. And another player that I'm not going to go through every single player. I'm not going to do that to you. I'm not going to hold you hostage sort of thing. But our forward pack, Lillian Yarrow, Mackenzie Wheel, who I think with her Queensland form and what happened in round number 1, she is ready to absolutely rip and tear. She is ready to rip and tear, and she is. Lillian Yarrow, Mackenzie Wheel, Miss Lily Peacock as well, S.A. Banu as well. This forward pack, it is... I challenge someone to say that they're lower than second. I think they are a top 2. I think you're dealing with a top 2 forward pack in the NRLW, in my opinion.
Yeah, really exciting, our pack. And if you sort of go through, and those ladies are only 22, 23 years old. So, you haven't mentioned Bree Chester as well. She's another middle of the field player. They've got huge potential, this forward pack, and what we've got here, and we're lucky to have them. And they're hard workers, which has been a blessing for us. And they're players that want to learn. They've got a tough edge about them. They're young, but they don't really worry about reputations. They just know that they want to get out there and rip and tear. And I have to agree with you. Different types of players, all our middles. So S.A. Banu's, a powerhouse runner, gets some lead drive there, and she's absolutely dangerous. Whereas Lillian Yarrow moves really fast. Has got a real good build. You haven't seen her skill set yet, but she's got a nice pass and late offload that we're keen on. And obviously, Mackenzie's just rips in and has a crack at everything. And then you got Lily Peacock, who's got good size, got good speed, as a player of the future, and she's only 19 as well. So Nevada George is another one that we haven't mentioned as well. She plays in the middle of the field as well. So we're quite blessed in that regard. But if there's a challenge that I'll put to our middle forward pack, that we want to sort of go out there and represent ourselves as best we can. And I'm just looking forward to every week being challenged by the opposition and seeing where our girls sort of land. And hopefully in the next couple of years, these ladies mature, and then they become the benchmark for NRLW.
Yeah, I'll just say my piece on Bree Chester. She came up from New South Wales and debuted in our debut season, and she was green as sort of thing, and that's not something that is shocking sort of thing, especially in the first year of a season. But the graphic upskill from 2023 to 2024 by Bree Chester was absolutely incredible. To see what she did in 23, and then under your guidance, for her to go where she went and become the Cowboys player of last season. Bree Chester was absolutely amazing, and she just maintained that form in round number 1 as well. Just a couple of questions or comments here. This is my mum. This is a really good chat, Mr. Henry. How many days do the girls train?
The girls. So we generally train 3 days a week. It just depends, and then we obviously play one of those days, Saturday or Sunday. But like these girls are professionals, you can't keep them away from the building. It's sort of hard. You got to take their fob keys off them to tell them to stay at home. But that's sort of just where the game's going. This group is a special group that have always trained hard, is always working hard on their craft and getting better as players. They know that their bodies are need to be looked after, and they're just I think for how early they are in their development, there's a lot of hope and a lot of things that we see as professionals in the men's game that these young ladies are doing right now, and that's really pleasing for us.
Yep. Yeah. And just another couple of players, because I'll start to sort of wind things up here. There are just a couple of players as well I'd like to make mention of, or maybe get your opinion of as well. I think, in my opinion, and I might be seeing it through biased eyes, but I do think that the Cowboys have the best 1-2 combo punch in regards to hookers. Alicia Ford and Emma Manzelman, I think they are the best hooker combination in the NRLW going around. And you even had them both on the paddock at the same time in that second half this past weekend. I think they're both fantastic athletes. And in regards to the reserve grade players, I've been keeping a real keen eye on the Mackay Cutters for the better part of 3 seasons now. Northern Pride, not so much, but that's only because there's only so much rugby league that one person can actually watch in a frigging weekend, as I'm sure you can appreciate. But I have been a fan of Emily Bella for the better part of 2 years now as well. And she, under coach Marco Peters, has gone from 5'8" to interchange hooker, and now she's starting at a lock. I just wanted to ask if you don't mind answering, and that's okay, because that's okay if you don't. That's okay. But I just wanted to see what your opinion was of Emily Bella, because I think that she has gotten bigger over the off season, and she is such a presence on the paddock for the Mackay Cutters as well to start this year in what is a really young side. I couldn't be any more impressed with Emily Bella's efforts over the past few weeks or past month since the BMD Premiership started.
Yeah, Emily's obviously has huge potential as a player. I think she had originally signed as a hooker here at the Cows, and then, as you said, she's gotten stronger and bigger. Potentially, we're looking at her as a lock. For the season, though, we've sort of spoken to her, and she's got a few things going on at home and back home in Mackay, so we've sort of left her alone at this stage, and we're looking to get her back up here for next year's season, for the 26th season. So, we still got tabs on her, we're still keeping an eye on her, but we know that there's some stuff that's going on in the background there with her, and huge potential, like you're saying. It's someone that we value a lot. It's someone that we see that can play NRLW in the future. But yeah, at the moment she's getting around family and continues to find the love of the game, and that sort of sits well with us. And we'll be in touch with her and have her back up here next year.
Oh, I apologise then for maybe stepping over the mark, but I then send my best of energies to Emily Bella as well. But another player, just finally, Jennifer Kimber made her debut in the under-19s State of Origin game. You must be pretty happy with what happened on that night, and are you happy with the progression of Jennifer Kimber, who continues to impress every time she plays?
Yeah, Jen Kimber, she's a great player, great young player that's coming through. She's been in the system, I think, a year and a half now. We've sort of kept close eyes on her, and she has big reps. Marco Peters down in Mackay there's done a really good job of trying to bring her through slowly and not having to rush her. So, she's someone that we see as definitely a contender in the outside backs. She's in our development squad this year, which has been awesome. And in the first sort of 7 weeks, in here, like we've been training really, really hard. We train at an intensity that's probably a lot faster than the game, and she's handled it. Handled it really well for a young player, for someone that's never been in our system. She's every time she's been given an opportunity, she's taken it, and I think you'll see how she develops. We'll see how she develops over the next couple of months playing BMD in it. But she is definitely someone that we got big reps on and hopes for. And next year she'll come into our top 24 squad, which would be good. And I'm looking forward to her sort of making her debut. She had a run in the open in our trial against the Titans a couple of weeks ago, so that was awesome. To sort of give her a bit of a run, and she held her gloves up and held her own against some quality NRLW players. So, big things on the horizon for Jen. And one thing I can sort of describe her as, she's a footballer, first and foremost. You don't want to give her too much information because she'll probably overthink that. But if you just let her play footy, she's has unbelievable awareness and also unbelievable skill when you put her in some awkward positions. So definitely someone for the future there for us.
Well, after all that, Mr. Henry, after the 1 hour, I'm about to go book an appointment at my tattoo parlor to go get NRLW Premiers 2025 on my forearm, inscribed on my forearm, because I'm excited. I'm freaking excited. Yes, sir. And and they'll go back to back and all that. But just one final question, just to leave us off with. I'm turning 35 later on this year, and the older I get, I sort of want to maybe get into. I'd like to maybe think maybe in like 5 years' time, I'd like to get involved in bush footy in the community rugby league, and maybe do some coaching or be an assistant or what have you. For someone like myself at age 35, what's maybe is there any advice that you could give someone like myself, or even a young 10-year-old who may want to be a coach one day? What's kind of advice do you have for somebody who wants to aspire to get into coaching?
Yeah, look, passion for the game is where it sort of starts, and draw on that passion, I reckon, and make sure that you still love the game and you never fall out of love with it. I guess having a growth mindset is a big thing as well. Always thinking about the game in a different light, being open to hearing different stories from different coaches or people that you respect or people that lead, will help you develop as a coach. But have a philosophy that you believe in, I think is really important. But also be adaptable and be ready to sort of pivot when you need to be, just so that you evolve with the game as it's going. So those are probably my biggest tips at the higher end of elite coaching. I think if you're just coaching local footy or bush footy or that sort of thing, really enjoy it. Get the players that are playing the game to really enjoy your coaching and being around you, I think is really important. And make sure that you walk away every night with a smile on your face. Because when you sometimes coach at our level, it's quite intense and everything else. But I find if you've got a smile on your face when you're leaving, it generally means that you're enjoying yourself and that you love the game. So that'll be my advice to anyone looking to coach.
Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Henry. Go get them this weekend. The Newcastle Knights are coming up to Townsville to take on North Queensland Cowboys, who are favourites at the moment against Newcastle Knights. No. North Queensland Cowboys, we are the favourite. We're coming into the game as the favourites, $1.80 to $2. But I can't talk to you about betting, otherwise you might be blacklisted or the cage might come down on you as well. Yes, indeed. But again, thank you so much for your time, Mr. Henry, and go get them. All the best. I hope to bump into you sometime later on this season. All the absolute best. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. And just a couple of compliments and comments here. Please thank Ricky for us. This kind of access is rare in the professional era, but as Cowboys Tragics, the fans really enjoy these kinds of insights. Spot on Cows with Guns, unreal access. Thank you. Mum's in here. Thank you, Mr. Henry. And send our thanks for the amazing insight. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Henry. It really does mean a lot. Everybody, thank you very much for also tuning in. Really enjoyed it. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you. Take care. Adios and go Cowboys. Thank you.